It's all right.
Yeah, Max in
back.
studio with me. T-Roy is still on vacation. We were off
Where did T-Roy go on vacation?
San Diego.
Oh, that sounds nice.
Yes.
Is he going to catch some baseball while he's out there?
I don't think so. He probably drank a lot of wine and ate some fish tacos. We'll find out tomorrow. He'll have a full report. But we were off Thursday and Friday because the White Sox games was Thursday and Friday as well. And obviously the big thing that we're playing catch up. So if you're nauseated by NFL talk, schedule talk, so be it. It happens. But obviously there's other things going on. Like the NBA playoffs are now set to go, and that's going to be an interesting one. And we are going to look a little bit at that. The playoffs are going to start coming up here tomorrow night. And that's going to be the Hornets and the Pacers. Hornets are the 10 seed, the Pacers are the 9. And then the Wizards at the Celtics, 8 and 7. That's their play-in game. And then in a play-in game that David Silver probably would have rather have Pelicans and Lakers, but instead he gets Warriors and Lakers, which is going to be the big one because everyone's going to watch it. That's on Wednesday night. Spurs at number 10. Spurs are at the Grizzlies, number 9. And number 8, Warriors, number 7, Lakers will be playing. That'll be a 9 p.m. tip-off. So that's going to be pretty exciting.
So,
Steph Curry won the scoring title.
Like 5 teams per conference don't make the playoffs now?
Yeah, something like that. Mm-hmm. But they only did 72 games instead of 82, so they did the play-in, and to some people like it, some people didn't. I don't know. It helps. It wasn't a big thing. LeBron wasn't very happy about it, but.
Are they doing this from now on? Is this a 1-year deal? What's going on?
I bet you it sticks around, the playing games. And it's actually, I like it, but for a league that the ratings are really, really down, it's important for them.
Yeah.
And the ratings are down. I mean, they kill it on the internet. We've covered that plenty of times. We've talked about it. But,
well, I mean, one of their biggest stars says he doesn't even care about basketball, Jay. Kyrie Irving.
Oh, basketball. Well, yeah, there's more to life than that.
Well, yeah, duh, but you get paid millions upon millions upon millions of dollars to play basketball.
But so did the number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft. Said the same thing, that there's more to life than that.
Yeah, I think that article with Trevor Lawrence, and we talked about it on the show one day when I was visiting, co-hosting here, but I think that kind of got swept under the rug.
Yeah.
That felt like a bigger story to me, especially considering Andrew Luck and what he did to the Indianapolis Colts just a couple years ago. You wonder if Trevor Lawrence could do the same eventually going forward, especially because he's not really accustomed to losing. Mm-hmm. And the Jaguars they lose a lot. So interesting.
Now, speaking of that, real quick, even though we knew it was coming, there were rumblings, and last week the signing happened, the Tim Tebow thing, in the NFL.
I love it. I just love Tim Tebow. I don't know why. Right. I just love Tim Tebow. I think he's a good dude. I think he gets a lot of hate because he's such a good dude. Maybe some people don't believe that he's a good dude. I don't know. I just think it's kind of a statement on how our society has changed over the past couple decades, where if somebody's a good person, you immediately hate them. And I sent a tweet out on my Twitter account at mbrave13 if you're so inclined.
There you go.
That said, you got to stop hating on Tim Tebow just because deep down you know you're a piece of crap. You know what I mean?
Great guy.
He's a great dude. Wasn't the best quarterback, but he still had a super memorable playoff game against the Steelers where he threw the touchdown in overtime to Demaryius Thomas, was it?
Yeah.
I think it was Demaryius Thomas. That was awesome. And it's not like he's coming back to try and play quarterback in the NFL. He's coming back to play tight end. He'll be a backup tight end.
Jacksonville, like 4 tight ends.
Oh, who's Jacksonville's number 1 tight end? O'Shaughnessy?
I think so.
Is he gonna? He's gonna dig into O'Shaughnessy's snaps. Is that what we're concerned about?
Yes.
We feel really bad for the O'Shaughnessy family. I want him to do well. He's from Jacksonville, so there's probably a little bit of a scheme there to sell some more tickets in a stadium where they don't sell out very often. Mm-hmm. And it's just another reason to be excited about the NFL season coming up. Again, I'm a fan of Tebow, so I like it. Other people not a fan of Tebow, so they don't like it. But it is what it is. We'll see what happens. I was trying to look at the over/under on touchdown receptions, if they had any prop bets or anything like that. Do you think he will receive. He will catch a touchdown pass this upcoming season. Just one.
Tebow?
Yeah.
100%.
How many? What would you set?
They'll make sure there's one. They'll make sure there's one.
Yeah.
They're just him and Urban. They're going to. They're going to justify it.
Well, he's not officially signed yet, right? I don't think he's officially signed, has he? They said maybe sometime this week it was going to go down.
Then I'm done with the conversation. Yes.
Well,
because
I want to know,
we knew 2 weeks ago it was mentioned. Last week it was a big deal that it came out like on Monday or Tuesday, like he's definitely signing, and all the people lost their mind on Twitter, including NFL players, and people like, this isn't fair, it's not right, he's taking a job, and then other people are like, hey, there's plenty of guys that are still trying to get in the league at 33. If he gets in, someone wants to sign him, someone sign him. Their business, it's their business.
Exactly.
But now if he hasn't signed, then what do we do?
Well,
Why are there prop bets
I think
then?
they said. That's why I don't think there are prop bets. I was trying to look it up. I didn't find any.
Okay.
But there's, I think, Good Morning Football. I think Nate Burleson set the over/under at 5. I thought that was a little high.
Ooh.
Where would you put it? I'd put it maybe at like 2.5.
I think that's high too. But I think it will just be. I think 1.5 is good.
I think I'll take the over on that.
Then it's going to be somewhere between. It's not going to be 5.
No, definitely not. If he scores 5 touchdowns, I mean, I don't think George Kittle has scored 5 touchdowns in an NFL season, has he? Maybe 5 is like his tops.
Yeah.
He's not, he hasn't had the best quarterbacks to work with, and his best quarterback, Jimmy Garoppolo, has been injured quite a bit. But that's kind of a lot. 5's a lot.
5's a lot.
If you're setting it at 1.5, I think I'll go over, but barely. I think maybe he gets 2.
Are you putting Tebow on every single one of your fantasy football teams just for karma? Just for karma reasons. That last pick of the draft. Last pick.
Last pick of the draft.
I tell you what, I lean on I am doing
well,
that.
Tight end's a scarce position, and if you can get some productivity out of a late round tight end draft pick, then you might be set up for some success.
Well, let me explain that to you as well. You're obviously later on in the fantasy drafts, you're looking for what they call lottery picks. Something for sure. You find the diamond in the rough, and that gets to stay on your roster. But I think some of those specialty positions are going to be more important, like your number 3 running back. Even a backup tight end, a wide receiver. You don't, because I think with the extra week and less amount of preseason games and everything else, I think that September, and it wasn't me I think it was Michael Lombardi, the GM Shuffle, the podcast. He's like, it's almost like a load management. Like September is going to be more of a, let's limit the amount of reps. And I think he made it equivalent to Ezekiel Elliott. He said like, if he got, and he was just speculating, let's say he got 1,200 snaps last year, you'd probably say to your offensive coordinator, your coaching staff, like, let's try to get to that same amount in that many weeks. So let's bring him back a little bit.
You cut maybe 5 a game off of him or something like that.
Especially in September.
Tony Pollard a little bit more there.
So, and the majority of injuries, this was something else. Warren Sharp was on Bill Simmons' podcast, and he was talking about how September is going to be key because the majority of soft tissue injuries usually happen in the preseason and the early weeks because they're not used to making those hard cuts and everything else.
People are trying to work back up to it.
Yeah.
At least they do have training camps and stuff this year, so that might help out a little bit. Well, I mean, we're already seeing some of these injuries happen already. The Denver Broncos are a little bit snake bit, huh? They lost Jawan James, starting right tackle for the year, when he was working off-site. Then they cut him and said, we're not paying you your $10 million salary this year because you were working off-site. Mm-hmm. Then he tweets at the NFLPA like, yo, what's going on? Are you guys going to take care of me? If you're the ones that are saying we shouldn't come into the facilities and work out because COVID's still a thing, then are you going to be paying me my $10 million that I'm not about to get? And then a wide receiver who wasn't going to be on the squad, but apparently they had a deal worked out to trade him to San Francisco, and it was supposed to be finalized within 2 or 3 days. I believe it was Deshaun Hamilton was about to be traded to the 49ers. He tears his Achilles working off-site, not at the Broncos training facility. And now he's out his, whatever his salary was, $2, $3, $4 million that year. And he's no longer going to be traded to the 49ers. They're not going to trade for a guy with a torn Achilles who's going to miss the entire year. So now he's out his money. And that's I mean, it's May.
Yeah.
We're in May. So I think a lot of these players are realizing, we might need to get our butts to the facility. So if we get hurt training, at least we're covered.
Absolutely. All right. Also, over the weekend, the 2020 Basketball Hall of Fame class was enshrined. It was delayed by 8 months because of the pandemic. Kobe Bryant went in, Tim Duncan went in, Kevin Garnett went in. Also with them was WNBA Tamika Catchings, former Rockets coach Rudy Tomjanovich, college coaches Eddie Sutton, Kim Mulkey, Barbara Stevens, and FIBA Executive Director Patrick Baumann. And then media members got in as well. Michael Breen, Michael Wilbon, and the TNT Inside the NBA's team of Charles Barkley, Shaquille O'Neal, Ernie Johnson, Kenny Smith went in. So about 16 months after Kobe Bryant went in, his wife Vanessa was there, took the award. Michael Jordan was there as well, accepted it on his behalf. Kobe Bryant, 18-time All-Star, 15-time All-NBA, 12-time All-Defensive Player, 5-time NBA champ, 2-time Finals MVP, and 2008 NBA MVP.
And an Oscar winner.
And an Oscar winner, too. That's
only professional athlete in the history of history
yes.
to win an Oscar award.
Don't want to speak ill of the dead, but that was also during a Me Too movement, so that was a really, really iffy time for him to get the Oscar.
Unique timing on that.
Yeah, he played over 1,300 games, averaged 25 points a game, 5.2 rebounds, 4.7 assists, 1.4 steals. Tim Duncan went in, and he's a 15-time All-Star, 15-time All-NBA. What?
Did you see Twitter's controversy on that one?
No, what happened? Twitter's just
always. They always gotta cancel somebody for something.
Okay.
Rachel Nichols, formerly of ESPN, I don't know where she's at now, just maybe NBA,
probably,
whatever their channel is.
Mm-hmm.
She was interviewing Tim Duncan after he was inducted, and she wanted to know what it was like getting praise from LeBron James. And she just asked him, when LeBron James was, your last game, he leaned in after you and said some words to you. How'd that make you feel? What was that like, Tim? And everyone was like, why is she asking Tim Duncan about LeBron James? This is Tim Duncan's moment. Not everything's about LeBron James. Of course they're going to do this. So everyone was trying to cancel Rachel Nichols, which, by the way, I did not know she got her teeth fixed. She's a good-looking woman.
She is an attractive lady. That it is an interesting question, but I mean, I would not. Just calm down. To me, I would not go that direction. I'd just be like, oh, I mean, those are stories. Those are the things that you, as a sports fan, you kind of want to know those things.
Yeah, I did. I was like, oh, okay, we're getting mad about that. I don't care. Like, why get upset? And everyone's like, this is why Tim Duncan doesn't do interviews. I'm like, what?
No, because he's about his personality as a vanilla envelope.
Exactly.
It's just the way he is. He's a 5-time NBA champ, 3 times Final MVP, 2-time MVP, averaged 19 points, 10.8 rebounds, 3 assists. Then my man KG, the big ticket, went in as well. I love KG, I always have.
Anything is possible.
Yeah, that's right. 2008 NBA champ, 2004 NBA MVP. He averaged 17.8 points a game, 10 rebounds a game. So he averaged a double-double.
That's actually Kevin Garnett is part of the reason I got married.
Okay.
How's that for a teaser there?
Why is that? Because
I was dating my future ex-wife.
Yeah. All right. Just to be transparent to everybody out there.
Yeah. I'm single, ladies. Hit me up. Again, mbrave13 on Twitter.
Not with fake accounts, though.
Anyways, I was dating my future wife, and we were watching the NBA Finals. I don't remember what year it was.
Was that the year that the Celtics won?
It was the year the Celtics were playing the Lakers.
2008.
Yep, and we put a bet on the series, and I said, if the Celtics win, then I will marry you, and if the Lakers win, I probably can't repeat what the bet was for that on the air.
Yeah.
Thinking there's no way that the Lakers are going to lose to the Celtics, and I lost, and I had to get married.
Well, we did not know each other back then. I would have told you that's not a good bet. I actually won a lot of money on that series. I think even though the game went, I don't think it went 7 games. I think it went 6. But the Celtics, even in losses, covered every single game. In wins, they covered. In losses, they won.
I should have just bet money on the series because this has ended up being the most expensive loss I've taken.
And it's funny, he did say something too. It's KG and Tim Duncan were often compared. Most people would, obviously, because they're in the same position. There's been arguments back and forth who you would take over the two. But he did mention Tim Duncan in his acceptance. He said, "Timmy, thank you, man. I looked forward to all the battles. Seriously, thank you for taking me to another level. It's an honor to go in the hall with you and Kobe." He was a 15-time All-Star, 12-time All-Defensive MVP, 9-time All-NBA MVP, The 2021 class was announced on Sunday. Paul Pierce will be going in. Chris Bosch will be going in. Chris Webber, who somehow was released of his duties at TNT before the playoffs began.
Unique timing there.
And then Ben Wallace, who will go in as a player, and he is the first NBA player going in the Hall of Fame, the Basketball Hall of Fame, as an undrafted player.
Interesting. And he's going in for his defense, no doubt about it.
So that's what's going on there as well. 11-1 long shot. Ron Bauer sprung an upset to win the 146 Preakness Stakes, surging past Derby winner Medina Spirit and putting, I guess the controversy in the back burner, because now if Medina Spirit didn't win, now it's kind of like, but
well, do we test the hay?
I don't know.
It's the winner there.
It was a butt cream, right? I don't know.
They said that a drunk guy at a wedding peed on the hay. This is a real story.
That's not true.
You didn't talk about this. They said that was the guy's excuse for why the horse failed the drug test, was because some drunk dude or some guy who was
that
high
is not,
on.
Merrick,
I swear to God. I
they
swear
said
to
it was
God.
a cream because he had like a
you didn't see
skin
this story?
infection.
He said he ate tainted hay. You got to look this up.
Bob Baffert said he had a rash.
We got to look this up.
A skin disease, and they put a topical cream on it, and that might have had the stuff on it that would be banned.
I think he's just throwing out like a bunch of different reasons now.
The tainted hay from pee.
That was his original excuse, that the horse ate pea tainted hay. It's right here.
That is terrible. And the thing is, it was Pat Forty that wrote for SI, I think, or was it? It doesn't matter. Or ESPN. I mean, it does matter because I have to quote the right thing. But he said, the excuses will be plentiful and intolerable, and he's right. They're just, the stories are all the same. It's always something. A drunk guy at a wedding peed on hay.
This was his original excuse that he later had to be like, okay, yeah, I think everyone knows I'm making that up. How dumb do you have to be?
I have.
That's great. Somebody was like, do you think NFL players can start using that one when they fail their drug test? See, I ate some hay that somebody peed on.
I have had way too many conversations where I'm like, this doesn't make sense. And someone's like, well, it does make sense. Just why can't you just believe me? And I was like, because it doesn't make sense.
I love it.
So
Bob blamed a groom who took a leak on hay in a horse stall. The horse, Baffert claims, then ate the hay and tested positive.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Bob's horses have now failed at least 29 drug tests during his 4-decade career as a trainer.
It's something like in the last 7 years, it's worse. The numbers are insane. This is the second time since 1950 that both the Derby and Preakness winners had odds of 10 to 1 or longer. Medina Spirit was a 12 to 1 to win the Derby. And like I said, Ron Bauer was 11 to 1 long shot as well to win that. So, let's see. The Sam Houston State, congratulations for winning the FCS national title. They beat South Dakota State. The reason why South Dakota State is important is because our friend Chopper from Locals Love Us is a graduate from there, Jackrabbits. So they it was a last minute touchdown to beat South Dakota State 23-21. It's the first ever FCS national title. So congratulations to Sam Houston State. Sam Houston is one of 47 college football teams that finished the strange 2021 season undefeated. Whether they went 13-0 or 1-0, but there were 47 teams that went undefeated in some way in between that stretch. So that's things going around there. Baseball news: we still got the old White Sox. They're in first place. In front of your Cleveland and my Minnesota Twins. Twins are 10.5 back.
They're struggling.
They just can't win close games. Not at all. The White Sox have the best record in baseball right now at 24-15. Red Sox lead the East at 25-17. They have a game and a half lead over Toronto. Oakland still leads the West by only by a half game over Houston. Mets lead the National League East by a half game. And St. Louis 2 games up in Milwaukee. The Cubs are 3 games back. And in the West, the Giants are still holding on, but the Padres only a half game back, so it's kind of tightening up there for those. So yeah, I don't know. Twins are making me sick, driving me crazy. It's not, as you know when they say finding ways to lose. No, they're just inventing ways to lose.
Just creating new ones.
Yeah, just creating new ways to win, lose. Let me see this. But we do have to take a break. Before we go to break, Albert Pujols signed with the Dodgers.
Interesting.
It is an interesting sign.
Yeah, I wouldn't have predicted that.
Not at all.
St. Louis, I thought. Thought maybe the Indians would give him a look.
I just don't know why or where. All right. So Pujols is signed with the Dodgers. The Dodgers now have 4 former MVPs in Pujols, Mookie Betts, Cody Bellinger, and Clayton Kershaw. The last team to have 4 former MVPs on the roster was the 1996 Red Sox. Can you name those 4 former MVPs?
No.
All right, so the 1996 Red Sox had 4 former MVPs on the roster.
I was 10.
There you go. That might be
time.
a reason there. The hint is those guys won MVPs in 86, 88, 89, and 1995. So that's your trivia question of the day. We'll be right back here at Don't Hassle Us. We're local on ESPN 1170. But first, I want to tell you about Locals Love Us. We mentioned Chopper. We want to remind you guys to stop going to your favorite social media sites asking for suggestions of where to get your oil change, who does the best tattoo work, or the best place for lunch in the Quad Cities. Pick up your Locals Love Us guide all over the QCA. It has an easy-to-navigate table of contents to help you find whatever you're looking for. Go to their website at localsloveus.com, click on Quad Cities, then browse your favorites. It's so easy to use, and they even rank the most popular places for you. So stop going on there and saying, like, hey, guys, who's got the best burger? Who's got the best peel and eat shrimp? Just go out there, find it for yourself. You'll make yourself feel better, and then maybe you'll find a new place without someone saying, see, I told you so, and you can be the next person to give advice and say, I found it on localsloveus.com. We'll be right back, ESPN 1170 AM, in just a few minutes.
This is Tyson Blazer, and you're listening to Don't Hassle Us. We're local on ESPN 1170 AM.
Just do it. Stop dragging yourself around feeling like you don't have to live this way. I repeat, you don't have to live this way. What you need is to replace the testosterone you have lost over time. Make an appointment at Limitless Male Medical. They will change your life. And don't do it tomorrow. Do it today. Make an appointment at Limitless Male and get your life back. Just do it at limitlessmale.com. The men's health experts. Insurance accepted.
When booking your next tee time, hitting a bucket of balls, or looking for a quick bite to eat, make Palmer Hills Golf Course and Grill in Bettendorf your first choice. 18 rolling holes that challenge the beginner up to the avid player. Visit Palmer Hills' fully stocked pro shop for clubs, clothing, or anything golf. After your round, relax in the Palmer Grill, featuring daily lunch specials. And opening Tuesday, May 25th, The Forge at Palmer Hills, a unique 18-hole putting experience. Visit palmerhillsgolf.com or download the free Palmer Hills app. Tee it up today.
Davenport and Moline, get ready. 20 ribeyes for $35. Fishers of Men Foods is bringing you a meat sale you don't want to miss. At North Park Mall Davenport behind Firestone and South Park Mall Moline behind Olive Garden. Just look for the big truck and tent. It's a gigantic steak, seafood, chicken, and pork meat blowout sale happening now for a limited time. You'll also find mega ribeye porterhouse, T-bone jumbo shrimp, fillets, lobsters, pork ribs, pork chops, even top quality chicken breast. And of course, 20 ribeyes for $35. It's all happening in North Park Mall Davenport behind Firestone and South Park Mall Moline behind Olive Garden. Hurry and fill your freezer with quality meat, pork, seafood, and chicken just in time for grilling season. This sale won't last long, and while you're there, ask about their whole cow and half cow specials. It's this year's gigantic meat sale, only happening in North Park Mall behind Firestone and South Park Mall behind Olive Garden. 20 ribeyes for $35, cash, credit, or debit card. See you today.
River Valley Turf is your Quad Cities John Deere dealer specializing in lawn and garden, commercial equipment, John Deere utility vehicles, and compact tractors. River Valley Turf has a huge inventory of both new and used power equipment to get the job done right the first time. Deer season is going on now, so come shop the selection and save. Buy now before they're gone. Unlike the box stores, we let you drive it before you buy it. Stop in and see what River Valley Turf has to offer today, located in both Davenport, Iowa and Silvis, Illinois, or visit rivervalleyturf.com.
AJ here, get your t-shirts here, sweatshirts or polos here, GT Sports here, new owners, new items.
I'm AJ at GT Sports, the best damn apparel shop in the Quad Cities with custom apparel, backpacks, uniforms, drinkware, hats, and much more. We are the embroidery and screen printing champions you can count on. GT Sports has it and is ready to serve you. Just down from Helium and Eldridge, or find us online at GT Sportswear.
GT Sports here, get your t-shirts here, sweatshirts or polos here, GT Sports here.
Montgomery with NFL Network now on the Westwood One Radio Network. 29 NFL teams resumed their rookie minicamp Sunday with several top draft picks taking the field, including the 11th overall pick Justin Fields. While Bears head coach Matt Nagy reiterated Sunday that Andy Dalton remains the starter in Chicago, he's impressed by his young QB.
Justin's a very bright kid. He's football smart. He understands X's and O's. He also does a great job at understanding post-snap vision. He did it yesterday. Again, he did it today. For him to have that is going to be really big.
Also impressing at rookie minicamp, Lions fourth rounder Amon-Ra St. Brown, who will compete for a starting receiver job. Head coach Dan Campbell says of the USC star, quote, "He has not disappointed us at all. He has been as advertised." And it's a new chance with a new team for former first-round pick Kelvin Benjamin at a new position. The Giants are signing the ex-wide receiver as a tight end. Benjamin hasn't played since 2018. This has been NFL Network now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
Introducing the Lowe's List. While there's innovation in every aisle, these are some of our experts' top picks for 2021. Customize any load with the Whirlpool 2-in-1 washer. Control your home with a touch, thanks to Samsung Connected Appliances. Repel the rain with HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams Everlast. And keep the job going longer with the exclusive new line of Flex Power Tools, made for pros. To see who made the full Lowe's list, visit Lowe's.com. Lowe's, home to any budget, home to any possibility.
Napa know-how.
Why get a 5-quart jug of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil for $27.99? Great question. Do you like getting $10 prepaid gift cards? Do you enjoy your car working? Do you love being called a genius? Who doesn't? Pick up Mobil 1 for $27.99 to get a $10 gift card. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
General states pricing. Sales prices not include applicable state and local taxes or recycling fees. Offer ends 5/31/21.
Spend the day on the patio and enjoy the game with your sports leader, ESPN 1170.
Welcome back here on ESPN 1170 AM. Don't House Us for Local. 12:28 in the afternoon, Monday, May 17th, National Tax Day. So you have the rest of the day to do that. So anyway, the trivia question I gave to you was that now that Pujols has signed with the Dodgers, which no one can understand why. I don't know. Maybe a Dodger fan can explain the signing. If he wants to play, I just don't see where he's going to play. And he tells the Angels that I'm playing first base, and now he can't DH. But, hey, it is what it is. Before we went to break, I gave you the trivia question. And, yes, it was not an easy one. It seemed to be kind of a stretch. But I'll give it to you. I'll tell you anyway. So since they signed with him, the Dodgers now have 4 former MVPs on their roster. And the last time that had happened was the 1996 Boston Red Sox. I said, can you name the 4? You said no.
I just can't. I can't name one.
The people that won it previous were the MVPs was in 1986, 1988, 1989, and 1995. So the 4 MVPs on the roster for the Red Sox were Roger Clemens. He was the 1986 American League MVP. Jose Canseco was on that roster. He was the 1988 AL MVP. Kevin Mitchell, who was the 1989 NL MVP, and Mo Vaughn, the 1995 American League MVP. All right, Merrick. So the schedule came out. What's the most important things? What did you see? What did you write about? And tell everyone where they can read your writing.
Leftarmofgod.com. It is a Miami Dolphins / Tua Tagovailoa website, and I write blogs for them every week. And I wrote about the Dolphins schedule. I wrote about how the Dolphins had 3 games in front of a national audience. Now, albeit one of those games is the early game in London against the Jaguars. But they do return to Monday Night Football this year, late in the season against the Saints. So hopefully both teams are doing well so that one doesn't get flexed out. But it was, kind of nice to see. I would like to see him get a Sunday Night Football game because that seems like that's kind of the marquee game of the week now. It's a Sunday Night Football game. Not so much the Monday Night Football game anymore, at least in my opinion. So it'd be nice to see him get one of those at some point, but they didn't. We'll see how they do this year. But, I think one of the biggest things that people have been talking about of the schedule release is Tom Brady going back to Foxborough to face his former team, and it just so happens to line up to where he might break the all-time passing yardage record. What is that, week 4?
It's week 4.
Yeah, week 4 at New England. And his dad's already on radio talking a whole bunch of smack.
All right.
Is
that his dad, or is that someone just can sound kind of like Tom? He sounds more like Tom Brady. I cannot. Has that been confirmed? I've listened to it probably 2 or 3 times, only because other sports places are talking about it, playing the clip, or podcasts that I listen to.
You think it's a hoax?
I don't think Tom Brady's dad would call in.
Isn't
and just
he
say,
known to be kind of like the LeVar Ball of?
See, you tell me, because I was just right away. I was like, no way.
Well, I don't know. I think it's hilarious if it is, and I think I have no doubt in my mind that Tom Brady has that mindset going into that game.
Tom Brady is like 40-something years old, and his dad is talking like he's talking about a kid on a Pop Warner football team. He's saying we, and of course we cheer for, of course Patriots are our second favorite team, but we get to go in on week 4 and we get to beat them there at their own place. And he keeps saying we, thrown out there, and I've never seen Tom Brady's dad in my life.
It's the trend. Maybe they signed him as a backup tight end.
Maybe. It's one of the weirdest things, because it's just kind of like, all right, like it's. Yeah, it was
very odd. I didn't even think of it that it could be a hoax, but you think it's actually Tom coming in there saying that?
No, I just think it's someone who can sound like
like
Tom and can just say like, yeah, it's that. Now, someone could point out and be like, no, he is a weekly call-in guest on the show, whatever else, and be like, here's all these clips, and then they'd say, oh, well, all right, but I still would be like, I don't care. I guess I would be even at.
Do you think Tom Brady approves of that, or do you think he's ashamed? Like, Dad, knock it off, Dad.
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
Come
That's
on.
what I would do. I'm 45, and I'd be like, Dad,
come on, Dad,
what are you doing, man? I can speak for myself. Like, or I totally would be that way. I'd be like, come on, man. Like, if he's like, hey, you gotta, if you want, hey, take your 15 minutes and run with it. Good job, Pop. Whatever else. Maybe.
John Cena's dad kind of does the same thing, where he does a lot of interviews and he talks a lot of crap about other people, I don't know if it's on behalf of John Cena or if it's, despite John Cena's best wishes, but a lot of dads out there. I hope to be a dad like that someday, Jay. I really do. I hope my kids do big things and I can just get on the air and just talk a whole bunch of crap about their rivals, and I'll be the worst dad. I'll talk so much garbage.
Just cutting promos on,
exactly.
on all your kids' rivals.
Yep. I'll just harken back to my old wrestling days and just drag them through the mud.
I don't think I could ever do that. I'm more like, I just want to, if I'm not there to help or coach in a way, then I want to be away from everything.
Just dial it back. No, that's not me. I at my kids' little league games right now, I'm on the fence, shaking the fence and screaming, and everybody else is just on their phones, off in the background.
See, I prefer to be all right, I'm going further away from the crowd. So if that means I'm sitting in the outfield, I'm sitting in the outfield by myself.
You can observe. I'm right there on the third base line on the fence, shaking it. I'm like, this kid can't pitch. Make him throw his pitch. It's too high. He doesn't know what he's doing. No, I don't take it that far.
I know. Yeah.
To be fair, though, that kid definitely looked at me one day and he said, I'm going to play for the Cubs someday. This kid I'm telling you about. Not my kid, the pitcher.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, oh, cool. And then he was warming up before the inning. He looked directly at me. Nobody else. He's looking at me. And he goes, look how good I pitch. Like a Ron Burgundy situation.
Yeah.
Come everyone see how good I look.
Yeah.
And he's throwing a couple warm-up pitches. He walked the next 4 batters on 4 straight pitches each.
Yeah. And you're like, ah.
He didn't throw a single strike. I was like, oh, man, well, at least he has confidence in himself.
Mm-hmm.
And so concludes my segment, dogging a 10-year-old Little League player.
I've got plenty of them where I've done something similar, and to be it 10U girls softball or whatever else, but I try not to do anything like that. But so how do you feel about the Dolphins schedule? We'll talk about the Dolphins, and then we'll go into the Bears and the Packers and
big Dolphins contingent in the fan bases of the Quad Cities here. But riveting radio. Every time I'm on, we got to talk about the Dolphins.
Yeah,
that's what I do.
You're expert on it. Yeah.
I thought they got some favorable scheduling advantages. They travel 4 of their first 6 games, which is not ideal.
No.
However, week 1 in New England, it's not going to be cold. Week 2 in Buffalo, it's not going to be cold. The Dolphins do not play well in cold weather cities when the temperatures are below 35 degrees. Just historically, it's hard to go from South Florida, where it's a low of 72 in December and then head up to Foxborough and play in 5-degree weather. So they did catch a couple breaks there. They do get to host New England in Week 18. It's going to be hard not to say Week 17 anymore with that added week there. But
yeah.
So New England comes in late. So they'll have to travel to South Florida in the heat and humidity, and that really messes teams up too historically. So I was excited about that. They don't lose a home game by going to London, so that's cool because they've played. This will be the 5th time they've played in London, and they've lost, I think, at least 3 home games playing in London. So that's cool. I don't like that they don't get a bye week coming back from London. They immediately have to play, I believe, the Falcons coming back, which will be a challenge. That's a loaded offense right there. Very late bye week, week 14 for the bye week. Handful of teams. I think there's 4 teams that have a bye week in week 14, which will be the latest bye week in history. So we'll see. Hopefully that'll be a good time for them to rest up and, fingers crossed, be able to gear up for the playoffs if they're playing well. We'll see. They got a tough opening stretch, and then things do lighten up there in the middle. They got games against the Panthers, a couple against the Jets. They play the Texans. So we'll see what happens. But I'm cautiously optimistic. I could see them winning. They won 10 games last year. They went 10-6 last year. I could see them possibly winning 11 games this year. That would be nice.
That's the over/under is not at 11. It's got to be down a little bit more than that.
Oh no, I'm saying I could see them winning 11. I'm sure the over/under is something like 9.5, maybe.
Yeah, it's not an easy first month for your Dolphins.
I could absolutely see them go 1-4 in their first 5 games, and then turn it around and win 4 of the next 6.
Yeah, because after what you're referring to is going, that's the October 10th game against Tampa Bay on the road, but then you got Jacksonville, like you said, that's the one in London, and then you've got Atlanta at home. Who knows what they're going to be like at Buffalo, Houston. That's a dumpster fire. And then you've got Thursday night football game on a short week with Baltimore. So I can see where you're seeing that. And then you got the Jets in November. And close out versus Carolina on the 28th. And that's a team that's kind of, you don't know what you're going to get out of Carolina because it's going to be based on Sam Darnold. And really when you're looking at this right now, when you're speculating the schedule, you have to look at quarterbacks. You're not looking at the team as a whole. So right. New England, you don't know if Mac Jones is going to be starting there or not. Yeah, I don't think.
DraftKings has the Dolphins over/under at 9. By the way.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That's about where I would put them at. Buffalo, Josh Allen, Las Vegas,
Derek Carr. They did
Mariota.
Lose. They lost a lot of offensive linemen in Vegas. So
yeah, Indianapolis. We don't know how that's going to work out yet with Carson.
I think they're going to be a good team.
Terrific.
I really think they're going to be a good team. I think Wentz gets his old offensive coordinator back, Frank Reich, and he'll fix them up right. And I think the rest of that team is phenomenal. So
okay. There's another team I wanted to look at. I'm looking at that. Yeah. So
it's a tough schedule. I think they rank it as like the 5th easiest schedule, but it's really not. When you look at it, the Patriots are going to be a lot better. They got a lot of players that came back from their opt-outs. Plus, they signed a whole slew of dudes.
Yeah, that's the Patriots are the ones where I think it's more. All right, if we're looking at the schedule. I think probably the best thing is when are these rookie quarterbacks going to start? When are they going to play?
Well, did you see the praise? I'm sure you did, that Justin Fields was receiving after his first rookie mini camp day 1, day 2. They were saying he looked real good in those practices.
Okay, then let's flip it over and let's do Bears talk.
Bears over/under, according to DraftKings right now, is 7.5.
All right,
and that is a 17-game schedule.
Okay, the Bears go to Los Angeles for Week 1. Okay, it's not going to be an easy game at all. The question is when does Justin Fields start? Do you start him from Week 1? Do you let Andy Dalton do Andy Dalton things against the Rams and then he goes and plays the Bengals game, which, by the way, he didn't play for the Bengals last year. So it's not a revenge game for Andy Dalton. He
still
played for
think
the
it is, though.
Cowboys.
I think it's a revenge game there. I mean, he played his best football and had most of his numbers while playing for Cincinnati.
I don't think you start Fields until week 4.
You have Nick Foles. You have Andy Dalton. So you have options there. That's tough.
Best description I've ever heard. Best description I've ever heard about the quarterback situation of the Bears. Yeah, we're lost, but we're still making good time. You know, you're driving around with the family. Kind of got lost. We're still making good time. Either way, you're still lost. You are still lost. Doesn't make a good time.
But
that's what's going on in this situation.
Are the Bears winning the Super Bowl this year? No.
Okay.
So then you have to make that decision. Is it better to start your rookie QB from week 1, let him take his lumps, let him learn on the fly, get that experience under his belt, and see where he goes? Or does that ruin him? If he doesn't come out the gates hot, if he struggles, if he gets sacked a lot, does that ruin his confidence going forward? And is that something that can be salvaged if he has a poor rookie season?
Week 4 against the Lions at home. Get those first 3 weeks out of the way. Let Andy Dalton do Andy Dalton things against the Rams. I don't know, 2-3 interceptions.
What are the first 3 games again?
Okay, at the Rams, night game.
With Matthew Stafford.
There you go. Who has the 4th best odds to win the MVP. Then you have the Bengals. Joe Burrow is there. Doesn't matter. It's at home.
That one can go either way, yeah.
Then you're at Cleveland.
Okay, so that's
defense is better. Cleveland's
at the best. You're probably looking at 1 and 2 if you project losses to the Rams
the
and
best. At the best,
and the Browns.
Yeah, at the best. Then week 4, you're at home against the Lions. They're not.
When's the Bears bye week?
It's not until that's the problem. I like where your head's at. It is. Where is it? The bye week at 12, 5, 25. It's a great question. It looks like after at Detroit, so week, that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think it's week 11. That's too long to wait for that.
Week 10.
Week 10, yeah,
week
between
10.
the Steelers and Ravens, right?
Yeah, you know, week 10 sounds late until you remember there's 18 weeks in the season. So he comes in week 11 off the bye week.
Let's do it. Let's do it again. Let's do it all over again.
Here's something to think about. The longer you wait, the more time Pace and Nagy buy themselves going forward. Because if you wait until week 14, 15 to bring in Fields, and traditionally those quarterbacks, since there's no tape on them, at least at the NFL level, they'll surprise people for the first couple games. So, you know, they'll light it up a little bit.
Okay.
So maybe you're having a crappy season, everyone's down on the Bears, but there's still that little glimmer of hope in everybody's eye that Justin Fields is our future. When he comes in, we'll be good. He comes in, even in losses, maybe he puts up big numbers. Everyone feels excited about the future. Well, that's Nagy's guy. We got to give him a shot. We got to go forward with him. So maybe they're thinking, you know, how do we, you know, save our own butts a little bit? Maybe we'll wait till later on in the year when everyone's feeling kind of down on the team. We inject this shot of life, a shot of hope into the franchise. We bring him in. He does well over the last, 4 or 5 weeks. And they buy themselves a little bit more time.
I see your point because it does kind of say, well, it does buy them time, and then but they're also under fire at the same time. The seat's getting warm, so it works both ways. You can always say, well, Patrick Mahomes sat out a year, and now we consider him the best quarterback in the NFL. So we're kind of doing the same way. Hey, what worked for the Chiefs, we want it to work for us, and you can't deny that. You have to go, yeah, they're right. They've got that. But is he going to be the next Patrick Mahomes? I don't know. We live in a society of we want automatic results. And the other thing is there's a possibility this division is wide open because if there's a guy that doesn't want to play quarterback and doesn't show up.
I actually was just looking on the internet.
That guy I'm talking about doesn't play for the Bears.
Well, I was looking.
He plays in the division.
When Aaron Rodgers had his bye week, and it looks like the Broncos are on bye week at week 11. See what I did there?
I see what you did there, yeah. I get it. Let's continue to take a look at that, and let's look at the Packers schedule when we come back from our second break here in the first hour. Don't hassle us. We're local. Front Street Brewery, the oldest brew pub in the state of Iowa, is nestled beautifully along the bank of the mighty Mississippi and has served the fine community of Davenport, Iowa since 1992. They also have the tap room down there at the Freight House Market. I suggest going down there and getting something like the Raging River or the Davenport Gold or the Juicy Lucy, which is new too, but just sitting down there and by the tap room, and then going to a game at the Modern Woodman Park to see the River Bandits. But like I said, don't forget about the other beers out there, kind of like their Raging River and English-inspired American India Pale Ale. Go ahead and check out their Facebook page for food and drink specials. Also visit their webpage at www.frontstreetbrew.com. Restaurant's located at 208 East River Drive, and the tap room is the Freight House Complex. Just had a conversation yesterday about Front Street because I was corrected because I was stopped by a brewery in Geneseo, and we were kind of contemplating getting food, and I said I just typically do not like food at breweries. And they said, why? I said, well, not only are brewmasters usually thin-skinned and they don't like to be criticized for what they're making, breweries somehow always bring in chefs, and the chefs try to pair everything, and it seems sometimes too artsy-fartsy for me, and you're paying like $14 for like 2 tacos or something that's supposed to go well. And then I was like, so I don't eat it. And then someone said, well, Front Street. And I'm like, actually, I stand corrected. I really, truly do like the food at Front Street. And we'll be down there soon at the tap room, and we'll do a live show from there. But we'll be right back. Don't Hassle So Local here on ESPN 1170 AM.
This is Turk Wendell, and you're listening to Don't Hassle Us. We're local.
If you own a small business, you know how hard it can be to find new customers. Now, Town Square has new tools that can help your business stand out and grow today. Go to GetLocalCustomersNow.com for a free local market competitive analysis that will show you what other businesses in town are doing to find new customers and how you can do it too with Town Square. Plus, be one of the first business owners to sign up with Town Square and receive $500 in free advertising on this radio station. Start growing your business today. Visit GetLocalCustomersNow.com. That's GetLocalCustomersNow.com.
Hey, this is Eric at Winger Truck Line, and we now have immediate openings for home daily regional drivers and city drivers. Winger Truck Line is different. These home daily positions are proof that Winger works hard to get more drivers home more often than ever before. We have a brand new increased pay program. Join us and you will see we say what we mean and we mean what we say. Winger Truck Line is working hard to get you home. Winger Truck Line, 800-593-6433 or drivewtl.com.
Unfiltered. Keyshawn Johnson, Jay Williams, and Zubin Mahente.
Does Aaron Rodgers get moved before the season starts?
The 2 teams in the AFC for me would be the Raiders. And I know they got Carr, but you send Carr back to Green Bay. I know John Gruden he's probably sitting there just trying to figure out how to get that done because he's never satisfied with the quarterback spot. Never. Think about it. He tried to get Brett Favre when Brett was 60. So, I mean,
but if you think about it, though, as far as location goes for Aaron Rodgers,
he was Vegas.
Vegas would be, Vegas would be optimal. Obviously, Bay Area, where he's from, like that would have really been.
That's why he was really pushing. Yeah. He was really pushing for that San Francisco opportunity because they had a winning team. And the Raiders, maybe he is a guy who can kick them over the top. But those are the 2 teams in the AFC that make sense.
Keyshawn, Jay Will, and Zubin. Mornings on the Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170.
Don't you feel so free out here on the lake?
Not as free as this soda.
Where'd you get free soda?
Casey's. Buy 4 fountain drinks, 5th one's free.
I love free.
Bought this jerky, got this free donut too. And these chips could win me a free Lee Brice concert here in our town.
With Casey's Summer of Freedom sweepstakes, the more you buy, the more you can win, including a free Lee Brice concert for your town. Casey's, here for good. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited. For official rules, visit Casey's.com.
This is Greeny with Mike Greenberg.
What I am about to tell you is my opinion. It is not a statement of fact. I believe that the 49ers changed their minds on the decision between Mac Jones and Trey Lance somewhere deep into the process. I don't think this was all one big smokescreen. I don't think they got any benefit from doing it. I think they legitimately changed their minds. And as a consequence, they take Trey Lance instead of Mac Jones. I don't know this for certain, but if I had to bet money that mattered to me, I would bet that if Trey Lance had been available at 4, the Falcons would have taken him. That's what I think. I don't know it, but that's what I think. And that would have changed everything. Obviously, the draft falls the way the draft falls because quarterbacks went 1, 2, and 3, but not 4. I think Lance, when all was said and done, was the guy everybody wanted.
Greeny, weekdays 9 till 11 on ESPN 1170.
Attention homeowners! We know March, April, and May mean mild weather and the slowest months of the year for our business. So we've got great news for you. TMI is slashing prices and giving away deluxe furnaces for half price with the purchase of air conditioning. That's right, half price furnaces. Great utility and manufacturer rebates, plus this half off sale means huge savings. Don't miss out on this opportunity to get the best deal of the year. Estimates are free, so call today. TMI, heating, air conditioning, and plumbing.
Trading involves financial risk and is not suitable for all investors. Past results do not guarantee future performance.
Traders, listen up. As life in America starts to return to normal, are you looking for the best trading opportunities? With the current real estate market, the rise of crypto, and the volatility of tech stocks, it's virtually impossible to guess what will happen next. With Vantage Point, you don't have to. Text the word MONEY to 813-813 to learn how our technology analyzes over 1 million data points per day. Text the word MONEY to 813-813 so you can learn how to predict market trends up to 3 days in advance with incredible accuracy. Whether you're trading stocks, options, forex, futures, or crypto, Vantage Point's patented artificial intelligence can give you a massive edge. Text MONEY to 813-813 to find out how to maximize your gains. Text the word MONEY to 813-813 to learn how to use the volatility to your advantage. Don't wait. Text the word MONEY to 813-813 now.
Go to VantagePointSoftware.com for terms, conditions, and privacy policy.
Download the ESPN 1170 app today. We are the Quad Cities sports leader, ESPN 1170.
We're back here. Don't Hassle us local ESPN 1170 AM. Let's take a look at some baseball scores from yesterday and see who's on the docket for today. Yesterday, the Orioles beat the Yankees 10-6. The Giants over the Pirates on the road 4-1. The Blue Jays beat the Philadelphia Eagles 10-8 in interleague
Eagles?
Game. Did I say Eagles?
You said Eagles.
I'm reading too fast. Phillies. The Blue Jays beat the Phillies. The Angels beat the Red Sox 6-5. Cubs victorious against the Detroit Tigers. They won 5-1. The Tampa Bay Rays bested the Mets 7-1 at home. White Sox 4-3 over the Royals. Astros beat the Rangers 6-2. Brewers beat up on the Braves. They win there. A's beat the Twins. I think they cheated, from what I understand. The Cincinnati Reds 7-6 over the Rockies. Nationals go on the road and beat the Diamondbacks. Marlins over the Dodgers 3-2. Mariners and Indians in a close one 3-2, but the Mariners get the best there. And the Padres beat the Cardinals 5-3. Today, we've got games that start at night, so no day games. So if you have to set your fantasy lineup for the week, you have a few more hours to do that as well. Starting off with the Giants at Cincinnati, Mets at Atlanta. The Nationals go on the road against the Cubs tonight. Lester will be on the mound for the Nationals, so that's a little homecoming for him. That's an interesting one to watch. White Sox go to Minnesota. I'll be watching that one. Yankees in Texas tonight. Cleveland and the Angels. Arizona and the Dodgers. Colorado, the Padres. Detroit, and Seattle. So, that being said, that's what's going on there in baseball. Tomorrow, the NBA playoffs begin. Just the play-in games on Tuesday and Wednesday, and then we'll get a little bit deeper from there. It should be really interesting. The NHL playoffs, they're kind of goofy this year. I don't know that much about the NHL. So to me, it's kind of like, all right. I mean, I can say it. I can be like, yeah, hey, NHL. But, I mean, I'd be lying about anything.
Yes, we're Americans. Hockey is a great sport to watch live. I don't think anyone can debate that.
I don't think I've never heard one person. I've never gone to a live NHL game, but I've never heard one person argue against what you said.
Yeah, it's like live is completely different. I imagine it's I've never been, but I imagine it's similar to NASCAR. You know, if you're not a NASCAR fan, which I am not, if you go to it live, of course you're going to be a fan after that, or at least you're going to be a fan of the live NASCAR with, you know, how fast the cars are going and you know, the noises and everything, the atmosphere. I think NHL is a lot like that. Hockey's a lot like that. You get the collisions, and sometimes you get the fights, and, you know, you get the cool chants and the loud horns. And I used to love going to Mallards games.
Yeah, so when you bring up the NASCAR thing, I truly want to go to a NASCAR event. So I looked at the schedule. There's that thing in Newton, the Iowa Speedway.
Yeah.
And looking at it, I'm like, well, let's see. Can we do something like do I don't know, media passes? But the schedule hasn't opened up. There's nothing going on because of COVID or whatever else. So, but I would love to go to. I'd rather go to right now where I'm at on my list. If I had to choose live NASCAR event would be before NHL.
Before game. NHL. I've only been to one NHL game down in St. Louis. It was really, really fun. I never went to a NASCAR race, but I used to go to a lot of those dirt race tracks in Knoxville.
Mm-hmm.
I lived in Knoxville for like 6 months in like 1990. And we'd go to those dirt racetracks, and those were pretty fun. So I imagine it'd be similar to that, but bigger and faster and better.
Gotcha. All right, so we were taking a look at the schedules before we went to break. Oh, before we do that, though, we got to do a little bit of recap right under it's Merrick's type thing. Merrick, you have a show this weekend. Tell everyone about it.
Live professional wrestling, SCW Pro on Twitter and Facebook, SCW Pro. We have an event starting at 8 o'clock p.m., so a little bit later start time, at the Beer Stube in Moline this Saturday. $10 to get in. We have multiple championship matches, multiple titles on the line.
Okay.
It's going to be a good time. We had 300 people packed into a relatively small space. Outdoors, you're going to be safe. CDC says you don't even got to wear masks anymore if you're vaccinated, so go get your shots. That sounds pretty fun. But
this is leading into a conversation. Go on. Though.
Okay, we'll do it. We'll do it. I'm fully vaccinated. I know you're not. I am. So
don't throw out my business like that, Merrick. Anyway,
normally you do that on your own when we forget to mute the mics on the Facebook.
Yeah, that happened, man. That happened once or twice. Yeah.
But anyways, we want to pack it again. It's a good time. It's fun. Much like that conversation we were just having about NASCAR. If you've never been to a live professional wrestling event, and maybe you think it's silly and yada yada yada, just because you've seen some stuff on TV that's a little wacky and weird, come give us a shot. Come check it out. It's $10 to get in. We have people that have never seen professional wrestling before in their lives. They get dragged to an event by a friend, and they approach me after the show and they say, listen, I was not a fan of pro wrestling until today, but this was awesome. I will be coming back because this was so much fun. I want to bring my friends. I want to bring my kids. I want to bring the whole family. It's a good time. It's $10, 8 o'clock this Saturday, the Beer Stube in Moline outdoor event. I just checked the weather forecast. Supposed to be a high of 83 and sunny on Saturday. It's going to be a fun time. Again, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at SCW Pro.
Let's we'll go down a little walk down memory lane for all the listeners out there and the people on Facebook Live. The first time I had Merrick on was when we were just the podcast in the bar, and you and I forget the champ at the time.
Connor Braxton.
Yep, Connor Braxton or whatever, and which was really strange because we had 94, 2004, 2014 grads.
Right, we were all 10 years apart on the graduation.
So how that all came about was I ran into Colby Seth Rollins at Hy-Vee. He was at West when I was there, when I was a teacher, and just mentioned to him like, hey, and he said, you know what, just hit up my partner Nick. I said, that's great, because really I just said, is there anybody you want that can promote your SCW Pro? I wasn't asking him. I know he's a busy man, and at that time I think he was doing more traveling, like in town only, like on Tuesday. Tuesday, and would leave again by Thursday. He'd come in like Tuesday night. So I knew that, and then you were nice enough to say, yeah, I'll come on the podcast, and I think breath of fresh air when I said, we're not going to just talk wrestling, we're going to talk sports. And you're like, thank goodness. Thank you so much that we don't have to do this. So, but until then, it's funny because we mentioned off the air earlier, we were talking about smart marks and people read dirt sheets. And I spent way too much time like either speculating what's going to happen. So at your events, which I went to and I still do and I enjoy them, but I remember I had to leave early because I had the kids and I'm like, this is what's going to happen, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, yeah, whatever. And then like you text me later, like, did you know something? Did someone? I was like, no, I think I was just trying to impress you. Be like, I kind of understand how some things work. Yeah. But then I've made so many like recklessly speculative. I think when you guys do your version of the Royal Rumble, I was like, you're coming back, and you're like, sure, okay, and you didn't. But I was like, no. I know you're coming back. But
there's too many people in a Rumble. get jumped from behind, break my neck
I
again.
know. But last night they had the WWE had their pay-per-view, the Backlash, WrestleMania
Backlash, which is confusing
It's
by
confusing.
design, I believe.
It's confusing by design because everyone thinks they're getting some type of
Well,
WrestleMania
yeah, and then
action,
you're subscribed to Peacock, so you can watch Parks and Rec in the office, and then on the big home screen it says WrestleMania, and then in really small letters it says Backlash, and then you're like, oh, WrestleMania's on again, nice.
Yeah, and I guess everybody's but they just add like triple threat matches in there in between. I guess Sheamus defeated Ricochet in the opening match, and then Rhea Ripley, that was a triple threat between Saka and Charlotte Flair. She retained her title. A lot of retaining titles, but
yeah, I think there were a lot of rematches from WrestleMania.
Ray and Dominic Mysterio actually beat Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler.
That's pretty cool, to see Dominic, who my partner Seth Rollins, he did a lot of work with Dominic when Dominic made his main roster debut, and by all accounts, he was a young, hungry kid who was just trying to be a sponge and soak up as much knowledge as he could. So it's good to see him get rewarded for his hard work. And you know what? I watch his matches, and yeah, he's green, but he's good. He's good. He has a lot of talent, and it's a feel-good story to see him win the championships with his dad.
Well, I'm telling you, I think this is the wrong thing to take the titles off of Roode and Ziggler. I think they could have done a longer storyline into one of their bigger ones like SummerSlam or even Survivor Series. I think they should have been more of the chase, what we've talked about, that they continue, because the writing's on the wall. Eventually, Dominic's going to turn on his dad.
Oh, there's money in that.
Yeah,
so
the whole thing is a chase, the frustration, and maybe you get the titles, but then like you lose them right away. There was no build-up, not a long, strong build-up to it. I think there should have been more of a chase, a little bit of frustration, have the titles, they're champions, they look like they're great together, and then they lose it at the next pay-per-view or even the next Monday Night Raw, and that's when the turn happens. You blame it on someone else. I think it took too long, too fast.
This is actually kind of what we were talking about earlier with Tom Brady and his dad. But this one, his dad actually can say we because he's still an active performer.
Yeah, he can. That's right. He can say we. But yeah, they won that. Let's see. Damian Priest and The Miz. Trust me, I got excited about the idea of a lumberjack match, but it was not a good match. So
zombies, man. The lumberjacks were zombies.
Yeah, that's right. So
zombies, big thing in May.
Yeah,
zombies. That was to promote the new which movie's coming out? I don't remember which. It's Batista's movie. Batista's in some Army of the Dead, right? Army of the Dead.
Okay.
And so that was to help do some cross promotion with that, I believe.
Great.
Yeah.
Bianca Belair defeated Bayley via pinfall. Let's see here. Bobby Lashley beat Drew McIntyre, Braun Strowman in a triple threat match. Who knows what they're going to do with Braun? Bobby Lashley, he needed that win anyway. He was a champion, so he retained. And then finally, Roman Reigns defeated Cesaro. So that was the WWE Backlash. All right, so you mentioned vaccinations.
Yes.
Well, let's have fun with the vaccination apprehension because of what happened with the New York Yankees.
Okay.
8 New York Yankees tested positive for COVID, including Gleyber Torres. The rest of them were like Phil Nevin, the third base or first base coach, I forget, both the third base and the first base. Phil Nevin, former Major League Baseball player, now base coach. Coaches, whatever, 8 of them. All 8 confirmed vaccinated.
Okay.
The thing is they don't know which ones they have. It looks more like, and I haven't read anything today, and it's not like something I'm following up on because I don't care about the New York Yankees. I care more about who's going to step in and say like, yeah, but the vaccination doesn't work, because I'm always anticipating a dumb argument with somebody about something, either or when someone says like, yeah, but the vaccination, it's not supposed to stop anything. It's only supposed to stop the symptoms. So now you're asymptomatic, but you can still have it. So I don't understand. But the other problem is it looks like the majority of the vaccinations were one-shot Johnson & Johnson. This doesn't look good for Johnson & Johnson.
No.
They haven't figured out like if they got them in Florida or New York yet.
That's interesting, though, because, you're right. You do talk about how they say that just because you're vaccinated doesn't mean you can't get it. It means that if you do get it, you're far less likely to end up in the hospital or dying from it. So at what point, is that maybe where we have to hit a certain percentage threshold for these teams to where you kind of stop worrying about it as much if somebody tests positive? It's like, okay, you tested positive, but you are vaccinated, so it's not as big of a deal? Or is it still a big deal because then you're going to give it to somebody who isn't vaccinated? It becomes difficult.
It's an interesting thing because it just seems like it's not being talked about, and it's not being talked about on purpose.
Yeah, I hadn't heard about it. Tell you the truth, first time I heard about it was two
It's the
seconds
New
ago
York
when you brought it
Yankees.
up. You would think that'd be a big deal because it's the New York Yankees.
And that's so, again, these are the type of things that you toe a line because you feel like, okay, if I happen to say this and it sounds like I'm talking negative towards vaccination, then you're going to say I'm an anti-vaxxer, and I'm not. Okay?
Right. It's you can't have, like, you either have to be far left or far right on all of these issues, don't you? At least according to the internet.
Yes, and so it's one of those things like when you say like, I'm fully vaccinated, Jay, you're not. I'm like, don't tell my business. It's a joke because then someone can easily on the Facebook comment thread be like, go get vaccinated. You're killing my grandma. And be like, oh, sorry. Yeah, you're right. I've just been, busy doing, I guess, nothing. I should go get vaccinated. I don't know. But it's an interesting thing because it's not really being talked about. Cashman came out and said, like, it shows that the vaccine is working because we only had a small. 8 is a lot to me out of the how many people are on your roster.
Yeah, 20, what is it, 27, 28?
But I mean, your coaching staff, everything. To me, and he said it would have been worse. How would it have been worse? Like, if last year, if this shut down people for games for 14 days, if we had 8, we thought that it was a problem within what are they doing at their facilities? Why are there 8 people? And now they're like, look how good it's working. Only 8 had it, and they all are fine. They have no symptoms, but they're testing positive.
And so these players now have to go on a COVID list, a 10-day.
They can come right back. They can be the 10-day, but they can get off it if they test negative. Which, as of I think I would say as of like Friday, like nobody had tested negative. Again, Saturday and Sunday, I've not been following the story. I was got rained out for a softball tournament and didn't do too much on Saturday. And yesterday was all day out in Geneseo for softball, so I wasn't on my phone reading things and doing whatever else. This is just a general conversation of like, it's adds fuel to the fire for those people who are diehard anti-vaxxers. All right, that to sit there and say like, see, it doesn't work. It adds, you're putting bullets in the chamber for them. But on the opposite side, you have people that go, no, it was never meant to stop. So it's confusing because you think you're stopping everything, right?
It is confusing, yeah. You would hope that, I guess in that scenario, it only matters if everyone's vaccinated then. If the entire team's vaccinated, every staff member's vaccinated, and then somebody tests positive, it's like, yeah, well, who cares? We're all vaccinated.
Yeah, the Yankees are clearly on the over 85% list. I know they're at over 85%, which is what the MLB wanted you to have, be at 85. And that's why they kind of said you can have certain things back in your clubhouse if you get to this number. So they took away things like pool tables in the clubhouse or video games. Major League Baseball did and said you can have this back. You can go back to a normal routine that you're used to in your clubhouse if you get to this number.
And I think they said you didn't have to wear masks in the dugout anymore.
Well, that was the same day that the Yankees came out of this. The MLB just said no more masks. You don't have to. I mean, now Modern Woodman Park now, no,
you just
nothing.
go there, you're good.
Yeah, you can do whatever.
That's interesting. You have to wonder if maybe there was some premature loosening of rules and protocol. God, I hope not. When they said a few days ago that you can stop wearing masks indoors if you're vaccinated, I was, hell yeah. And then I went to Walmart today and wore a mask because I felt ashamed. Like if somebody looked at me and I wasn't wearing a mask, I didn't want to have to look at everyone and go, I'm vaccinated. It's cool. Come here. Let me cough on you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so
to be honest with you, I don't even like. I guess in life, if you know me, there's certain things like I stand for this, I stand for that, or whatever else, and I just don't care if someone's wearing a mask or not. And
either way, just wear one, don't wear one.
And now, like you said, like you said Walmart, I go into Hy-Vee or whatever else, and I'll carry one if I remember it or whatever else. But if I'm in and out, a lot of times I'm like, it's not that big of a deal. Leave me alone. But there's sometimes I feel like, let's say I run into Quick Start real quick. I've had that conversation where I'm like, I forgot my mask. I'm not doing this out of protest. And they're like, okay, don't care. Do you have your rewards card on you? I'm like, oh yeah, good talk.
Right,
so,
they don't care.
Or you walk in and it's an awkward feeling. Either you have or you don't. Because now you have the people who or that they are completely anti-mask and they see you wearing one, they judge you and be like, sheep. You're like, oh, okay. Yeah, and then you have people that you walk without one, people wearing masks, and they're like, oh, and they kind of shimmy off to the side.
You're going to kill me.
Yeah.
I think that's interesting. I think it depends on what city you're in. I'm in Bluegrass a lot. And when I'm in Bluegrass, if I wear my mask inside the Casey's, there's not a single person in there with a mask on, and they all look at me funny.
Mhm.
And then if I'm, in here in Davenport and, I go inside a grocery store and somebody's not wearing a mask, like they're the weird ones. It's an interesting dynamic about, location and, socioeconomic status and all that stuff.
Yeah, and we're in a very situation because of us being neighbors with Illinois right there, and they're under different things also.
Yeah.
So you may be in Iowa side and you're used to walking around and then you go over to Illinois and you're like, oh yeah, I'm in Illinois now. Like it is strange. But I do say that I think it's really, really interesting that the story really didn't take that much, didn't get that much weight.
I wonder how quickly they'll be back. There's been a few star players testing positive this season for COVID. They've been out. Tatis is out right now with COVID.
And Erickson said, "Were Major League Baseball players forced to get the vaccine? They're not forced, but they were at this is on the Harrington's Pub Facebook comment thread. But they, like I said, MLB said we would like you to get to 85%, and if you do that, we'll return things. You can't force anyone. The Buffalo Bills tried to do this. They said we're not going to employ anyone, that is, and also as players who are not vaccinated. And NFL stepped in and said, no, you're not doing that. And the Bills were like, yeah, we're not doing that. Sorry. Sorry we took the stance that everyone was like big on, and we thought we were doing something to get people excited, but we are not doing that. So I don't think you can require anyone to do it at all. And then Erickson said, masks are not required at Rhythm City and Isle in town. Yeah, you know what? I guess I didn't look at the floor. I was at Rhythm City not too long ago. Speaking of Rhythm City, over the weekend was the 3-year anniversary of the Supreme Court that allowed gambling to all the states that want to do it. 3-year anniversary, which, by the way, I'll break my own arm, pat myself on the back. That same day that happened, we had President of Iowa Gaming and Racing Association, Wes Arickey, on this show. And he talked about what it was going to be and what it was going to take for Iowa to do it. We also had him on the show the day when it was announced that Iowa will start. He broke on the air on August 15th of however many years ago, 2 years ago, when gambling was going to be legal. We were the first on the air we were the first to have it on there. Since then, let's just say from June of 2018 to May of 2021, Iowa has had $1.4 billion wagered in there. So the handle is the total amount wager $1.4 billion, and is created $101.1 million in revenue, and also generated taxes of 6.9. New Jersey had the most revenue. They are further than Nevada. Nevada's up there as well, and they had just under on the handle most wagered. So Nevada had 14.5 billion wagered. Since that time, New Jersey is at 14.4. Can you imagine now when New York's going to open up, what that's going to do?
Oof. Wow.
Yeah. So like we said, it's been 3 years since the Supreme Court repealed the Professional and Amateur Sports Protection Act, also known as PASPA. And what that did is it prevented states from creating their own sports betting regulations. But 36 months later, 21 states plus Washington, D.C. By the way, there are way too many people out there that are adults that don't know that Washington, D.C. is its own thing and not in a state. So we're in trouble. Just throw that out there. But let's see. 9 states have seen $1 billion handle, including 3 states that didn't legalize it until 2020: Illinois, Colorado, and Michigan. In-person gambling is allowed in 11 plus D.C. That's Iowa. Obviously, we know that. And then and in-person and mobile. Those are 11. There's 7 that are just in-person only, and 3 that are mobile only: New Hampshire, Tennessee, and Virginia. It's legal in 6 states, but not operational. And the other important thing is for someone like me and Erickson, when we have on the air, another thing broke on the air, Jake from Elite Sportsbook saying that they're working on putting in OTB, and off-track betting at Rhythm City. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun there. So that's where the gambling's at, and it's completely different than where we were. If we were doing this podcast over 3 years ago, the show, whatever else, and constantly talking about gambling, saying like it's out there, folks. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. I mean, even when I pitched this show to the people here at Town Square, they said, well, what's the draw? And I said, no one else around here is going to be talking gambling. We'll talk gambling. We know how it works. We understand all that stuff. So it's gonna be interesting to see how it all comes about. So, but that's where the gambling is. All right, we need to take a look at the schedule, and I want to play another game because NBA playoffs are on the air. I want to do your starting. We'll do this after. We'll look at the schedules, but keep this. I want to put this in your mind, okay? Your NBA starting team, your 5, but they have to be professional wrestlers.
Got you.
Okay?
Yeah, I can do this.
All right, we'll do that later, but we do have to look at the Packers schedule, see what we think we're going to get there, and we have to look at Minnesota Vikings. We already looked at the Bears, talk Justin Fields, and we have to talk about who do you think is going to – I mean, we know Trevor Lawrence is going to start at quarterback, but who is probably behind which quarterback's going to come in and not start day one, but finally take over the team. We will do that when we come back from Don't Hassle Us for Local here on ESPN 1170 AM.
This is Rachel Alger with St. Ambrose University, and you are listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local.
If you own a small business, you know how hard it can be to find new customers. Now, Town Square has new tools that can help your business stand out and grow today. Go to GetLocalCustomersNow.com for a free local market competitive analysis that will show you what other businesses in town are doing to find new customers and how you can do it too with Town Square. Plus, be one of the first business owners to sign up with Town Square and receive $500 in free advertising on this radio station. Start growing your business today. Visit GetLocalCustomersNow.com. That's GetLocalCustomersNow.com.
Don't you feel so free out here on the lake?
Not as free as this soda.
Where'd you get free soda?
Casey's. Buy 4 fountain drinks, 5th one's free.
I love free.
Bought this jerky, got this free donut too. And these chips could win me a free Lee Brice concert here in our town.
With Casey's Summer of Freedom sweepstakes, the more you buy, the more you can win, including a free Lee Brice concert for your town. Casey's, here for good. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited. For official rules, visit Casey's.com.
Fun, saving money. Not fun, utility bills. Fun, generating your own clean, renewable energy. Not fun, flushing dollar bills down the toilet. Fun, calling Square One Solar for a no-pressure, free in-home estimate and getting a free solar phone charger. Not fun, paying your electric bill for the rest of your life. Let Square One Solar show you the benefits of solar. Over a decade of solar experience. Financing available, and for a limited time, buy one solar panel, get one free. Get your free solar analysis today. Square One Solar. Make the solar switch.
The first ever GM Ford Mopar Nationals is coming to Cordova International Raceway Saturday the 22nd. See the Ozark Mountains Super Shifters and the Nostalgia Pro Stocks at the same time for the first time ever. Enjoy long, smoky burnouts, gear jamming, and wheelies galore. Midwest top sportsmen and Victory Nostalgia Super Stocks battle it out to see who's the best brand on the ground. Plus, box class and no box bracket races. Saturday, May 22nd. Gates open at 8. Track is hot at 10. For more info, visit Cordova International Raceway at racecir.com.
Montgomery with NFL Network now on the Westwood One Radio Network. 29 NFL teams resumed their rookie minicamp Sunday with several top draft picks taking the field, including the 11th overall pick Justin Fields. While Bears head coach Matt Nagy reiterated Sunday that Andy Dalton remains the starter in Chicago, he's impressed by his young QB.
Justin's a very bright kid. He's football smart. He understands X's and O's. He also does a great job at understanding post-snap vision. He did it yesterday. Again, he did it today. For him to have that is going to be really big.
Also impressing at rookie minicamp, Lions 4th rounder Amon-Ra St. Brown, who will compete for a starting receiver job. Head coach Dan Campbell says of the USC star, quote, "He has not disappointed us at all. He has been as advertised." And it's a new chance with a new team for former first-round pick Kelvin Benjamin. At a new position, the Giants are signing the ex-wide receiver as a tight end. Benjamin hasn't played since 2018. This has been NFL Network now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
Introducing the Lowe's List. While there's innovation in every aisle, these are some of our experts' top picks for 2021. Customize any load with the Whirlpool 2-in-1 washer. Control your home with a touch, thanks to Samsung Connected Appliances. Repel the rain with HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams Everlast. And keep the job going longer with the exclusive new line of Flex Power Tools, made for pros. To see who made the full Lowe's list, visit Lowe's.com. Lowe's, home to any budget, home to any possibility.
Napa know-how.
Why get a 5-quart jug of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil for $27.99? Great question. Do you like getting $10 prepaid gift cards? Do you enjoy your car working? Do you love being called a genius? Who doesn't? Pick up Mobil 1 for $27.99 to get a $10 gift card. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa Know-How.
Napa Know-How.
General States pricing. Sales prices not include applicable state and local taxes or recycling fees. Offer ends 5/31/21.
PointsBet understands that in sports, it pays to be fast. Download the PointsBet app now and use code Iowa2K to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. Whether you're a bettor or a baller, a sharp or a sharpshooter, if you're making money or just laying money, sports is speed. Luckily, your sports book can keep up. When you bet with PointsBet, you get faster bets, faster withdrawals, and faster rewards at your fingertips. Plus, right now, PointsBet is giving customers the best odds on all pro sports. That's better odds and bigger payouts on our lightning fast app because PointsBet knows every second matters. Time is money, and it pays to be fast. PointsBet has the best odds on all pro sports, so download the app now and use code Iowa2K to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. See for yourself why bettors are calling PointsBet innovative, lightning quick, and the reason they have ditched the other books. Download the app now to experience Iowa's premium sports book for yourself. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
From the Vegas Gaming Cafe, this is the Quad City sports leader, ESPN 1170 AM, KBOB Davenport, a Town Square media station.
We are back here. Don't Hassle us. We're local here on ESPN 1170 AM. Just kind of going back and forth, sports, whatnot. I mean, that's what we're supposed to do. Anyway, so schedule came out last Wednesday for the NFL. We looked at the Bears. We were doing it to speculate where they would be, where Fields would be at. We can take a quick look at the Minnesota Vikings and their schedule. The thing is this isn't anything that's surprising to a diehard fan. Isn't surprised the schedule. You already kind of know who you're playing.
Yeah, they tell you who you're playing.
It's just about where you're playing.
When.
Yeah, it's when the NFL like really sticks it to you. Is the NFL going to stick it to you? Like there's some teams that have to play 3 straight road games, or there's always a team that has to play like 4 games in 17 days or something dumb, or 23 or something like that. It's kind of like they're going to find storylines. Like we mentioned, the Brady going to New England, which on top of it, how NBC got that game and not Fox or anyone else. I mean, that's going to be the highest rated game of the season.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Brady going back.
Regular season for sure.
And so, and by the way, my brother texted me. He said that actually was Tom Brady's dad that called in.
What? Confirmed?
So, yeah. He said he said that he texted me on that, and he said that it's the first time he's ever called, and he called on his own accord. They did not have anything set up with him or scheduled. I think he was on gummies. That's why I think he's crazy. Anyway, all right. So the Vikings open up on the road against the Bengals, and then they go to Arizona.
Over/under's 9 on the Vikings.
Okay. All right. Well, again, when you're doing this right now, the only thing outside of because we don't know what their we don't know their depth or whatever else. We just kind of go by quarterback, special teams. At the Bengals, Vikings. Joe Burrow's first game back. Is he going to be gun shy? I don't know. That's a tough one. I think that's a win. Okay?
All right. I can get behind that.
At Arizona. That team, Arizona it's one of those things. It's Cliff Kingsbury is the guy at the party that right away you're like, I don't know if I like him or not.
Yeah. They are close, right? Like the Cardinals are close. They feel like they should be good. When you watch them, you're like, this should be a good team.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're just not. They underperform every year.
They're at home, 2 games on the road, back-to-back. That's an iffy one. Again, I don't know if I like you or not, Cliff Kingsbury as a coach. I don't know about you, Arizona Cardinals. They're a good team, but they're probably 4th best in their division. We're not going to lie. They're probably the 4th best team in any division.
Yeah.
But, all right, I just don't know. And then they have another game, but they host the Seahawks. what are the Seahawks doing? Are they a running team? Are they going to let Russ cook? The thing is, at this time last year, they're letting Russ cook, and he was pretty good, and then they kind of backed away from that. So we're looking at, I'm putting them at 2-1 here. All right, they don't win in Arizona. They win against Seahawks, but then the Browns come into town.
Browns are going to be good.
Browns should be really good.
What kind of
put them at 2-2?
Bizarro world do we live in?
Then they have the Vikings 3-2. They win that game at Carolina. I don't think that's a good one for them. I think I like that there, so that puts them at 3-3. Cowboys at home.
Cowboys are going to be a lot better with Dak back.
But that's after their bye week, right?
Wow.
So, yeah, the Vikings are on a bye. They have 2 weeks to prepare for them. They're at home. Give it to the Vikings 4-3. At the Ravens. Oh, jeez. At the Chargers, 2 games in a row. I feel like I'm giving the Vikings too much credit on the road. So I'm going to have them lose those. 4-5 against the Packers. I don't know who the quarterback's going to be for the Packers. Sorry, guys. Sorry, Packer fans.
Well, they just signed Blake Bortles.
Yeah, they did. 5-5 at 49ers. Nope. 5-6 at the Lions. Yep. 6-6. Steelers.
Oh, boy, that's another tough one. Steelers actually have a pretty low over/under. They're at 8.5.
And would you say their number was 9?
Vikings are 9. Steelers are 8.5.
They're going to struggle to get to 9. It's really about because they close out with the Bears 2 out of the last 4 games. It really is what the Bears are going to be doing here to make them figure out if they're going to get to that 9 number or not. I'm staying away on that over/under for the Vikings. I don't know.
Let me give you some interesting over/unders here. You tell me what you got.
Okay.
And remember, every team plays 17 games.
Yes.
Chiefs over/under 12.5.
Are they going to get to 13-4?
13-4.
Well, 13-4. They open up with. I'm gonna have to actually bring them up.
We're not gonna be able to rapid fire this.
Yeah, we're not gonna be. So that's a high number right now. Off the top of my head, I'm saying no.
Because I think their offensive line got a lot better.
They did. I think they're going to do. I think every team. I think you're going to be. I think September's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be load management. You're going to see guys out there that probably shouldn't be out there that you're not used to in certain points of the game where you're like, what is going on? And it is protecting because of the extra week.
Houston Texans, which I'm actually surprised you can wager on this right now, considering the Sean Watson situation. Yep. 4.5 over/under 4.5.
I think the Lions will be the worst team in the NFL. I think Houston's going to make an argument.
Lions over/unders at 5.
So Vegas is saying that the dumpster fire down in Houston is worse.
So if Watson's not the guy there, you're looking at Tyrod Taylor as a QB for the Texans?
Yeah.
Can he lead them to over 4.5 wins? 5 wins for the Texans.
I don't know. It depends on if their team doctor stabs him in the heart or not.
Jacksonville Jaguars with rookie Trevor Lawrence. Over/under 6.5.
I think that's going to be an under.
I think I would take the under on that as well. Let's see. Scrolling down. New Orleans Saints, first full season without Drew Brees. Over/under 9.
Well,
they did well without him last year.
Jameis.
Or Taysom.
Or
both.
9-8. Yeah, their defense is pretty good. They're going to rely on that. I think that 9 seems 10-7. That could happen.
I could see it happening. We talked about the Steelers, 8.5.
I don't know where this is going because, I mean, they couldn't do too much.
Do they lean on the run game? Although they don't have a good offensive line. They drafted Najee, who's a great running back, but they don't have the offensive line for him. But they bring back Juju Smith-Schuster.
Yeah. Well, that division has gotten a lot better, though.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
It's going to come down to Big Ben and how healthy he is and how healthy he stays.
And their schedule can't be easy. They started off, 13-0, 10-0, 12-0, something like that. So their schedule can't be easy for them. That's going to be a tough one for them as well.
You got the Buccaneers over/under 11.5. Super Bowl champs. They return everyone.
Yeah.
But Tom Brady's old. You think? I don't know. He's old, but is he that old? Is this going to be a thing where you do like cat and dog years? Is this Tom Brady years?
Yeah.
Like he's 42, but he's really like 29.
I'm going to read you something about the 2021 schedule that Erickson sent me. and I think it's like the unofficial NFL type of thing. It's the 2021 schedule based on the unofficial NFL comedy thing of it. Okay. So the 2021 schedule, week 1, Andy Dalton throws 3 first-half interceptions and gets benched. Week 2, annual Ravens blowout loss versus Chiefs. Lamar running back memes begin. Week 3, Russell Wilson throws 6 TDs, leads MVP race. It's very true.
Yeah,
that one's dead on.
Every year.
Week 4, Brady throws for 750 yards and 9 TDs versus Patriots.
I love it. I hope so.
Week 5, insane last-second Fitzmagic win.
Heck yeah. I'm rooting for that.
That one's dead on. This is good. This is where it gets good. Week 6, Josh Gordon returns.
Week 7, he gets suspended.
I'm not there yet. Week 7, Joe Burrow dies. Week 8, Aaron Rodgers fires entire coaching staff and GM. Week 9, Josh Gordon suspended again.
Yep, there it was.
Yeah. Week 10, start of Raiders' annual second-half season collapse. Definitely. Week 11, Antonio Brown calls Roger Goodell a cracker on Instagram Live. Week 12, chalk this one up to definitely. Week 12, Cowboys and Lions lose on Thanksgiving.
Yep.
Week 13, Russell Wilson throws 5 interceptions in a 13-9 loss, loses MVP. Week 14, Steelers realize what it's like to actually play good teams. Week 15, Saints choke in prime time. Fans blame the refs.
I'm down for that one.
Week 16, Juju and Jackson Mahomes TikTok collab. That's great. Week 17, Myles Garrett murders Mason Rudolph on the field. And finally, Week 18, annual Derrick Henry 250 yards, 3 TD game versus Texans. Yes.
Let's do it.
That is a great.
September
great
can't get
schedule.
here soon enough.
I know. It's a great schedule. All right. What did I want to talk to you about? I know the starting 5 or whatever else, but we got to look at the Packers schedule. That's what I want to do real quick. Just because.
And you can't bet the over-under on the Packers right now.
Does anyone know what's going on? Like,
Rodgers has gone radio silent.
Yeah, we got a phone call. I believe it's Mikey. Hold on, you ready?
Yeah.
You're on ESPN 1170 AM. Who we got?
Hey, it's Mikey from Don't Hassle, or from Balls and Sticks, the podcast.
There you go, buddy. How are you,
How
Mikey?
You guys
doing well.
Good.
What you got for us?
So on the schedule release, Bears are not going to make their 7 wins to get the over under. Okay. I will put that on the book. I'm going to go make that bet this week. Guarantee it. They're not going to make their over under at all.
If you go under 7.5 right now, you get negative 125 odds.
So you got to put up 125 to win 100. And explain to me why you think that they will not get to 7 wins.
They're going to, and Merrick, you said it earlier. They're going to stick with Andy Dalton as long as they can to save their keisters, to make sure that they don't end up getting fired for next year, and then they'll bring in their savior of their jobs only, and Justin Fields will get a few wins at the end of the season.
Okay, well, it depends where they bring him in because they end the season. Let's just start. Where would be the right time?
Yeah, let's take a look after the bye week.
The earliest is going to be a week 11.
That's against the Ravens at home.
Loss.
Yeah.
Then they go to Detroit.
And they're still going to lose.
Yeah. They're going to go to Detroit.
That's a potential
and
winner.
They can win that one.
Then they are at home against the Arizona Cardinals.
At home against the Cardinals, cold weather. Ooh, it's going to be close.
That's going to be a close game. That's going to be the line on that's going to be a 2.5 for the Bears, and they're going to make it.
Okay.
So we got to win there.
Then they go. Yeah. Then they got a night game, Sunday night game at Green Bay.
Probably a loss if Rodgers is playing.
It's a loss if Rodgers is playing.
I don't even care if Rodgers is playing. I think they still lose that game.
Okay. Then they're at home against the Vikings, and that will be. Let's see.
That'll be their win.
That'll be a Monday night. It's a Monday night game. It's a Monday night game.
Monday night.
Yep. Back-to-back Monday night.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you, if he's not starting by then, you could see him make his debut there.
No, it's Sunday night game against the Packers. It's a Monday night game against the Vikings.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Yeah, second primetime game.
Okay. So is that a win there against the Vikings?
That is going to be a win, yes.
Then they go to Seattle. Short week.
Loss.
Taking the
Loss.
The loss on that.
Then they have the Giants at home.
That's going to be a loss, actually.
Okay. Then they're at Minnesota.
And that's going to be a loss.
So just
you
looking
have
back
them
after the
going
bye,
3-5.
and those after the bye week.
So you have Justin
After the bye
Fields.
week.
You have Justin Fields going 3-5 after he makes his debut after the bye week. And you know what? That doesn't sound like a great record, but for a rookie quarterback, that instills hope going forward.
Okay, now let's put it together.
100%.
Okay, where you're at 3-5. Let's put it together and go before the bye week. Okay, at the Rams, I think we're all in agreement that's a loss. Okay,
correct.
Then
That's a loss.
week 2 they're at home against the Bengals, the Andy Dalton revenge game. Win.
That's going to be a win.
Okay. Then at Cleveland,
Loss.
I think it's going to be a loss, but it's going to be a really close game.
Interesting. Is it just because Andy Dalton's familiar with the Browns that you think that?
I just think that the Bears' defense is going to keep them in it. Going to keep it close enough like they always do.
Okay.
And Andy Dalton's going to be able to do enough to make it real close. I wouldn't be surprised if they won that game, but I still think they're going to take that as a loss.
Okay. And they're at home against the Lions in week 4.
And that's a win.
Yep. At the Raiders.
I have that down as a win.
Okay. All right. They have the Packers at home.
That's a loss.
At Tampa Bay.
Loss.
Home against the 49ers.
Loss.
And then at Pittsburgh.
Loss.
And that's a Monday night game as well.
So if you have it written down,
we should have it
if I
written
remember
down.
correctly,
That's where you got into 6,
And
right?
you have 6 victories for them.
Yep. Okay, it makes sense to me, Mikey. It does. If the Justin Fields thing doesn't go in on the bye. Now we don't know if he'd make any difference if he comes in against the Lions in week 4 or if he starts from day 1. I don't know. So, but it's pretty good bet.
If he starts day 1, I think they can get to. I think they can actually get to 8. I don't think they can get the 9th win down.
Yeah, and the over/under's what?
7.5.
7.
So if Fields start, you think he's worth 2? You think Fields is worth 2 more wins?
Yes.
Oh wow.
I think the Browns game is a win.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think he can pull out one of those other games. Which game did I have it? If he was in, I have it written down. Let me grab it real quick.
Mm-hmm.
And those Bears fans be really, really stoked after a 3-2 start if that's how it goes. They have to be feeling pretty good about that. But what happens?
Yeah, it's going to be a 3-2 start, and then they're going to lose
5 in a row.
Yeah.
And that's with Fields, though.
Yeah.
Well, 4 of those 5 would be with Dalton or Foles.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yep.
Do you think they'd go from Dalton directly to Fields, or do you think they'd go Dalton, Foles, then Fields?
I don't think they can. Unless it's before the bye week, they can go to Dalton or they can go to Foles. But if they don't, if it's at the bye week, they don't have a choice. That's not enough time for them to save their job for next year.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. No, I appreciate that the phone call. That's a good take. If you're out there betting the NFL futures, it's something to definitely look at and keep an eye on the quarterback depth chart that Chicago's going to have coming up here soon. So, anything else for us, Mikey?
No, I think that's it. Guys, have a great week. Don't forget to check us out Saturdays about 10:30 on Facebook, or you can find us anywhere you find your podcast. Just look us up, Balls and Sticks. You're looking for 2 guys in tuxedos playing baseball.
Love it. All right, thank you so much for the phone call. Really appreciate it, my man.
Yep. See you guys.
Yep, take care. All right, that's Mikey from Balls and Sticks Podcast. Always good guy to talk to. All right, we're going to take our next break, and then we will come back. We got to do our fictitious NBA starting 5, but want to remind everyone, I'm wearing the shirt. I didn't even realize. Hidden Hills Golf Course, our friend Mike there, always coming up with new things for us. They've got the Memorial Day tournament coming up. You can get information, everything you want to there at hiddenhills-golf.com. It's at 4335 Indiana Avenue in Bettendorf, Iowa, just north of the TBK complex. They have 22 holes there to play, and you can call it there for all the rates that they got going on. There's still season passes, if you will. They've got leagues going and all kinds of events and tournaments to get out there and enjoy. And, on a day like this where it's dreary and you're just dreaming about better weather, maybe it's just good to go onto their website and start scheduling times where you can go to tournaments and play some golf. We'll talk to Mike on Wednesday and set up our DFS for golf that's coming up week. Always a good time talking to him. We'll be right back here at Don't Hassle for Local. We're going to set up our fictitious starting five for the NBA.
UFC Hall of Famer Pat Miletich. You're listening to Don't Hassle Us. We're local.
Hear every game of Chicago White Sox baseball on ESPN 1170 AM.
Back toward the wall. It's gone.
Len Casper and Darren Jackson are on the call. Chicago White Sox baseball on ESPN 1170 is presented by Wheelan Presley Funeral Home and Crematory, Circle Tap, Crawford Company, and Vegas Gaming Cafe. Check ESPN1170am.com for the full White Sox schedule.
It's not okay to live life feeling lousy when you can fix it. Limitless Mail has helped thousands of men erase lousy symptoms like trouble sleeping, no energy, loss of muscle mass, poor concentration, belly fat, low sex drive, depression. These are signs of low testosterone that can be eliminated. Take the quiz and schedule your complimentary consult at limitlessmail.com. The men's health experts. Insurance accepted.
Unfiltered. Keyshawn Johnson, Jay Williams, and Zubin Mahente.
Does Aaron Rodgers get moved before the season starts?
The two teams in the AFC for me would be the Raiders. And I know they got Carr, but you send Carr back to Green Bay. I know John Gruden he's probably sitting there just trying to figure out how to get that done because he's never satisfied with the quarterback spot. And
never.
Think about it. He tried to get Brett Favre when Brett was 60. So, I mean...
But if you think about it, though, as far as location goes for Aaron Rodgers, Vegas would be would be optimal. Obviously, Bay Area, where that would have really been.
That's why he was
better
really pushing.
Yeah.
He was really pushing for that San Francisco opportunity because they had a winning team. And the Raiders, maybe he is a guy who can kick them over the top. But those are the two teams in the AFC that make sense.
Keyshawn, Jay, Will, and Zubin. Mornings on the Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170.
Davenport and Moline, get ready. 20 ribeyes for $35. Fishers of Men Foods is bringing you a meat sale you don't want to miss. At North Park Mall Davenport behind Firestone and South Park Mall Moline behind Olive Garden. Just look for the big truck in tent. It's a gigantic steak, seafood, chicken, and pork meat blowout sale happening now for a limited time. You'll also find mega ribeye porterhouse, T-bone jumbo shrimp, fillets, lobsters, pork ribs, pork chops, even top quality chicken breast. And of course, 20 ribeyes for $35. It's all happening in North Park Mall Davenport behind Firestone and South Park Mall Moline behind Olive Garden. Hurry and fill your freezer with quality meat, pork, seafood, and chicken just in time for grilling season. This sale won't last long, and while you're there, ask about their whole cow and half cow specials. It's this year's gigantic meat sale, only happening in North Park Mall behind Firestone and South Park Mall behind Olive Garden. 20 ribeyes for $35. Cash, credit, or debit card. See you today.
This is Greeny with Mike Greenberg.
What I am about to tell you is my opinion. It is not a statement of fact. I believe that the 49ers changed their minds on the decision between Mac Jones and Trey Lance somewhere deep into the process. I don't think this was all one big smokescreen. I don't think they got any benefit from doing it. I think they legitimately changed their minds. And as a consequence, they take Trey Lance instead of Mac Jones. I don't know this for certain, but if I had to bet money that mattered to me, I would bet that if Trey Lance had been available at 4, the Falcons would have taken him. That's what I think. I don't know it, but that's what I think. And that would have changed everything. Obviously, the draft falls the way the draft falls because quarterbacks went 1, 2, and 3, but not 4. I think Lance, when all was said and done, was the guy everybody wanted.
Greeny, weekdays 9 till 11 on ESPN 1170.
For the brightest hand-selected diamonds, come to Dolan Jewelers.
This is Will Doland, and we want to offer the best diamond experience for every client and every occasion. At Dolan Jewelers, we carry the most popular shapes and sizes, as well as a huge inventory of lab-grown diamonds. With custom goldsmiths right here in our store, your experience will be convenient, easy, and fun. Visit us at 3865 Elmore Avenue in Davenport or online at dolanjewelers.com.
Ace Muffler Clinic has been serving the Quad Cities area for over 60 years. There's a reason why our customers continue to trust us with their vehicles. We can fix almost anything. We can fix your muffler, tune your brakes, change your oil, change your tires, replace your battery, customize your exhaust, tune your engine, repair your suspension, replace your radiator and your water pump. Align your automobile, refill your transmission fluid, and change your filters. And we believe in doing all those things right the first time. For fast-friendly service, visit Ace Muffler Clinic at 4th Ave and 15th Street in Rock Island.
Inject a little energy into your workday. Turn on the sports leader, ESPN 1170.
Monday, May 17th, just rounding out the end of the show. Just going to have a little bit of fun. The NBA playoffs are right around the corner. Going to start tomorrow night, and Wednesday you have the play-in games. So it's time to start paying attention to the NBA because we're going to be crowning the champion soon. And hopefully for the NBA, the ratings will go up just a little bit. Who knows? But that being said, if you're going to do a starting five, and I want to thank our friend Lucy Rodine, who did this on a TikTok. On May the 4th, she did this. She said, if I had to do a starting five in a Star Wars edition, here's would be my starting five. So I was like, you know what? I got Merrick in here. He's an expert on the wrestling world. And I haven't even put in my starting five. But if you had to do a starting five for professional wrestlers.
Well, you are right, Jay. I'm an expert in professional wrestling. I am the head trainer at Black and Brave Wrestling Academy downtown here in Davenport, Iowa.
That's right.
I do run SCW Pro, our local independent wrestling promotion, who does have a show this Saturday, 8 p.m. at the Beer Soup in Moline. Tickets are just $10. Come on out. So I think I am a little qualified to answer this question for you. So
I believe you are, yes.
I'll start with my center, and I will go with the Big Show, because the Big Show is a big, big man, and he actually played college basketball at Wichita State.
Was it?
Yep, he's a former Shocker.
Okay.
So there you go. You got Big Show at center.
All right. So hold on now. Big Show at center, which is a good call, and I did not know he played that. So are you going to go with former basketball players? Anyone who has that has professional? I want to know the theme that we're going here. If I can, I want to speculate.
Can I use like Dennis Rodman and Karl
No,
Malone?
No. I don't like that. No, we professional wrestlers.
Not all of my selections are former basketball players at the collegiate level, but he's not the last one.
So can I guess another one?
Sure.
Kevin Nash?
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah,
that's my power forward.
okay.
Kevin Nash played for the University of Tennessee.
He sure did, a.k.a. Diesel.
Yep.
Out there.
Diesel, one of my favorite wrestlers as a kid. I have him at my power forward. We're going to play a little old school basketball. We're going to get a couple big men down there. And, in their younger days, they were a little more svelte, especially Big Show when he was the giant in WCW. So I feel pretty good about that tandem. That's the last. Actually, no, it's not the last. I completely messed that up, because at my small forward position, not so small, but a heck of a lot more agile than the other two, I'm going to have The Undertaker playing my small forward position, because he's very, very agile for a big man.
Yeah,
actually
the phenom.
Had a conversation with the late, great Vader about this once. And
Okay.
he said that The Undertaker is the best big man in professional wrestling history, not the best giant. Those are different categories in Vader's mind. He said, obviously, Andre the Giant would be the best giant, with the Big Show being second behind that. But the best big man in wrestling history would be The Undertaker. Super agile. He walks the top rope. He does the big taker dive over the top rope. So he's gonna play my small forward position, because he's just as tall as Kevin Nash, but in my opinion, a little bit more agile.
Well, this leads I like the build-up, how we've gotten to this, because really the positions that are highlighted most are either point guard or shooting guard. So
sure.
Where are we going with this?
Shooting guard, I had a couple different options I could go here. In my opinion, the shooting guard is kind of a do-it-all type player. He's expected to score a lot of points, which means he's expected to kind of be the guy on the team. He's expected to be able to drive to the lane, doesn't just step back and shoot threes. He's not just a facilitator. So for my shooting guard, I decided to be nice. I went with my buddy Seth Rollins at shooting guard. I could have went Shawn Michaels, but Seth Rollins does have the height advantage on Shawn Michaels. Seth is 6'2". Shawn Michaels is 5'10". I'm not trying to trot out, Muggsy Bogues here.
Yeah. Have you guys ever played one-on-one pickup?
We never played one-on-one, but we would often play 2-on-2 because you'd get to the shows early.
Yeah.
And so we would always play against each other. We were never on the same team. I remember one particular game where he was teaming with a friend of ours named Josh Raymond from Michigan, and I was teaming with Jimmy Jacobs, who went on to become a writer for WWE and has done plenty of things in the independent world. And Jimmy, I always kind of called him like the prince of independent wrestling because he's not known like for this macho machismo attitude.
Okay.
He's a little flamboyant. And at the time, I was doing a glam rock gimmick myself, so I actually had press-on nails.
Oh.
And I'm playing this pickup basketball game wearing these bright yellow press-on nails, and I definitely lost a nail while playing basketball before this event. Side note, this event was in Indiana, and the ring never showed up, and the show got canceled. So we drove out to Indiana to play pickup basketball, and then the next day our show was in Des Moines. So we had to drive right back through the Quad Cities just to drive another 3 hours to Des Moines for our show the following day.
The things you do for the fans.
Yeah. So
and finally at point guard.
Point guard, you need to have this guy needs to be the facilitator. He's got to have his wits about him. He's got to be intelligent. He's got to be a smart guy. So why not go with the cerebral assassin? I got Triple H playing my point guard spot.
I cannot imagine Triple H running the point. If you have videotaped me dribbling a basketball up the court, it would be exactly what I think Triple H would be. Just a guy just staring at the ball.
Yes, you're probably right. Yeah. But he's a smart guy. He's going to draw up some good plays for you, and he's going to get
left out HBK on any of this.
He's my favorite wrestler of all time. I just watched his biography on A&E last night. Fantastic. If you haven't seen it, I think it's still on demand on DirecTV right now.
Well, you can get if you streamline stuff, you can get A&E or whatever else. We'll talk about that before we wrap up the show. So these A&E biographies, these A&E documentaries about wrestlers, I mean, obviously they came up with a big deal. I believe, is there something in the works with Vince McMahon? Is it a doc or something like that?
I heard there's like a Vince McMahon, kind of like they did with Jordan's Bulls. They're going to do like I don't know if it's a 10-part series, but they're going to do something with either Netflix or something like that, assuming now it'd be Peacock.
Yeah.
But, I heard there's going to be a documentary series on Vince McMahon, which would be super interesting for me to watch.
So, all right, the A&E, they started with Stone Cold.
Yep, Stone Cold, and then we got Macho Man. And
it went Rowdy.
Yeah,
Piper
it was Piper,
yeah.
then Macho Man, then Booker T, and then Shawn Michaels was last night.
Okay. You've
Those
seen
are
all of
great.
them.
Yep.
And I know
let's not forget, this all started with an Andre the Giant one that they did a couple years back.
That was HBO.
The Andre the Giant one?
Andre the Giant was HBO.
Ric Flair was HBO.
No, Ric Flair was a 30 for 30 by ESPN.
Yes, you're right.
Andre the Giant was produced by Bill Simmons people, and I feel like he wants to do something with.
Maybe there was another one for A&E though, because I did just watch it recently because they were putting it on to.
A&E has always done something. I mean, they were the first time that did not Dark Side of the Ring, but they did Behind the Ring or something. I don't know. And if you watch that one, that's the one where Mick Foley takes those chair shots and his kids are in the front row. That's
Beyond the Mat.
Beyond the Mat. There you go.
Yeah.
So the Stone Cold one. The thing is, even as wrestling fans, you learn a lot more if you're a historian. I don't even want to call it historian, but if you know your history and you know your superstars. I know you and I talked about it. I didn't know about Stone Cold and that he had didn't have a relationship with his daughter.
Yeah, I think he had two daughters, and he was on the road so much just because professional wrestling is demanding. So he was out of town 300 days
and he was like, this is the life for me.
And his wife was basically like, you're either going to cut back on how much you're wrestling or we're going to leave. And he said, I'm married to wrestling. And they left, and she's originally from England. And she took the kids to England, and he didn't talk to his daughters from the time they were like 7 or 8 years old to the time they were in their 20s.
Jeez. The Roddy Piper one. Did not know he was like him. If Ric Flair told you the way he lived and he lived it, Roddy Piper didn't. I would never imagine that Roddy Piper was that hard living. partying.
For a time. It seemed like he was able to clean his life up there earlier than most wrestlers get an opportunity to do. I had the pleasure of meeting Piper just like a year before he passed, and he was one of the absolute nicest legends I've ever met in the wrestling business. He was asking me about my Christmas plans and, if I was going to see family and whatnot. Very, very, very awesome dude. Big fan of Rowdy Piper there.
Crazy that he would get done traveling and then take another day when he got home and check into a hotel just to,
that is kind of wild.
To lose the gimmick and detox himself.
I can absolutely relate to that. You lose yourself in the gimmick, especially when you're playing somebody who's just completely different than you normally would be in real life, and you have to be able to shut that off.
Yeah.
After the show's over.
Well, and then you have the Macho Man one, which created the most controversy because people from the world that were friends with Mach, and it's weird that people came out and you would hear these things about Piper, the hard living. Everyone's kind of like, oh, that was the time, but there were some negative things said about Mach, and then a lot of people like Sean Waltman, 123 Kid or whatever else said, like, I didn't like what they did with Mach. They kind of did him wrong. He's not here to defend himself. But even his I don't know, wife or lady friend, the Gorgeous George, was like, yeah, he was a complicated man, but he was a good man, but he was complicated. Where's everything perfect? No, it wasn't.
I think you hear that with him a lot. He's very controlling in his relationships, and going as far as locking Miss Elizabeth in the closet backstage at shows when he had to go out and wrestle so that nobody else could come back and talk to her. Like, that's insane stuff.
That one I was kind of like, Lawler, I think you're taking some liberties here.
I honestly don't think he is. I've heard so many stories like that. I do believe that that's legitimate. But I've heard plenty of stories, going the other way too, where he's just a great dude to be around. And unfortunately, that's kind of the wrestling business. You run into a lot of guys who are great dudes, but not great human beings.
The Booker T one.
That one was really cool too. You know a little bit about the backstory about him. They were always like, oh, well, he robbed I always remember it being a bank, but he robbed 26 Wendy's when he was like 18 or 19 years old and ended up serving 3 years, I think, in prison. And then just turned it around and became one of the most legendary tag team wrestlers for WCW, and then a fantastic singles performer for WWE.
We've had him on the show before. It would be interesting to reach out and get him on again just to hear what he thinks about his A&E biography.
He's a good dude. He himself has his own wrestling school down in Houston.
And then you like the Shawn Michaels one, obviously.
I really did. I've watched. He's my favorite wrestler of all time, full disclosure, and I've watched a lot of documentaries detailing his story, and they always talk about his drug use in terms of like pain pills and whatnot, which is not uncommon in the wrestling business. But this was the first time where he himself opened up about his abuse of cocaine, which was obviously very prevalent in the 80s. But he was able to kick that from all, from at least from this documentary and the ones I've watched before. He did that without having to go to rehab. He just, I think he found God and was very inspired by having children and marrying his wife, and ended up kicking the habit. And by all accounts, he's stayed clean since then.
Well, I watched Shawn Michaels. He's one of my favorites as well. Ric Flair, that also. So, and that in turn.
Next week we get Ultimate Warrior.
That's going to be a complete and utter just bash. Well, what are you going to get? Because the WWE has done two things. They've released a documentary, a DVD, saying he's a terrible human being, and then came back and said like he's the greatest. So,
and they gave him the Warrior Award.
Yeah, you don't know what you're going to get out of that. All right, Merrick, thank you so much for coming in today. Quad Cities, try to stay dry out there. Be safe and sanitized. And be good to each other. We will talk to you tomorrow, too. We'll be back in studio. Enjoy yourselves, Quad Cities.
Peace.